Cloning is one of Photoshop's many retouching tools. As the name suggests, it allows us to clone or copy part of an image and apply it to other areas of the image. It can be used in many ways, from property listings to portraiture. Come along and let's have some fun learning how to use the clone stamp tool to modify parts of our image. There really are a lot of choices when it comes to doing some corrections within Photoshop. And I can't say that there's always one right or wrong tool to use, but one tool that I use an awful lot is the cloning stamp. I like it because it's very easy to simply clone part of the background and then apply it to something else. And we're going to use that here to do a little bit of touch-up work. The first thing I'm going to do is use Control+ to zoom in just a little bit so that we can see in all of the detail some of the things we might want to work on. And although vanity is not something that I'm sure any of us has, we do notice that there are some little wrinkles on the sides of the eyes that maybe we would like to take out. The clone stamp is probably a good use for this. So we'll select the stamp first, and then I always like to make it a good habit to go up and take a look at the settings, because often we've done something with a tool and we forget from project to project, and then we do something that we're not expecting. So we're going to make some adjustments here. First of all, we can see when we move over the image that this is a fairly small size. We want to change that, and I'm thinking probably about maybe 50 pixels or so should do it. I'm simply going to use the slider to bump that up. You could also type it directly into the box, whichever way works best for you. Again, we're talking pixels, so a precise number is not necessary. Then we have the hardness. We can have no hardness, or we can have a little bit. Depending on how you need the edges, you can make a choice there, and you also can choose some different styles from down below. With that done, let's see what we can do. With the cloning stamp, the trick is that you need to sample something first and then apply it to the image. You need to look for something that's going to be basically the same tone, the same structure that you need to apply it to so that it looks natural. Now again, this brush is a little bit large. Let's start over on the right-hand side, but I think it will work well. So over on the right side of the image, we have an area where we can sample. In order to do that, we'll go ahead and hold the Alt key and click. Now we have what we call a loaded tool, meaning it has the information it needs and it's ready to go. We can move over and you can already see how this is going to take out the wrinkle at the edge of the eye. Now it's simply a matter of dragging over what we want to apply for. Now watch as we drag that you do get a little plus sign. The plus sign is telling you how the sampling area is moving. So as you move in one direction, you might need to resample. Otherwise, you start drawing from an area that had the issue before. In this case, I could start drawing in part of the wrinkle just as fast as I'm taking it out. Let's do a little bit more with some of the darkness under the eyes. Again, we need to sample first, so we'll find a good area. And here we want to stay away from this little shadow because otherwise as we fill, it's going to pick that up. So maybe we'll start right about there. And then we'll just draw it in. Need to make sure that you're missing some of those important things like not taking out the eyelashes. Now as we can see right here, we are starting to get an edge and that doesn't look natural. This is when working with some of your blending can help. Up at the top, we're currently at 100% opacity, so we're like putting paint right over the top of it. It might be helpful instead if we just want to soften a feature, if we maybe move it down to 80 or 90% or even less. That way you get some of the natural colors coming through and not such a harsh line. So as you work, you can go ahead and adjust these as you need to. This is a little bit harsh, and I purposefully did that because sometimes it's difficult to see on video exactly what the effect is. But we've removed some of the wrinkle. You can compare the left to the right side. And we've also been able to take out some of the color, although right now it does look very spotty, and we would want to actually go back and put a little bit more finesse on that particular area. The clone stamp is great for doing this kind of work, or anything where you need to copy part of the image and simply apply it, usually as kind of a cover-up,